Who in your life do you need to influence? There's somebody out there, there's somebody in your life who you need them to make a decision in your favor. Well, there is one key to influence, and we're going to dig into that right now.
Welcome to Leadership Mindset 2.0. Practical neuroscience and psychology to transform you from a tactical doer into a strategic leader. Here is your host, former social entrepreneur of the year and coach to some of the world's top executives, R. Michael Anderson.
Hello, leaders. Michael here. And the more you are in a leadership position, the more important it is for you to understand how to influence people. And what that means is there's people in your life, there's people that you run into, whether it's people on your team that you need to get on board, there's peers, people at the same level, people above you, prospective clients, etc., that you need to get them to make decisions, let's face it, in your favor. And that is a real art. And it all, like everything else I teach, that all boils down to psychology and neuroscience. And so today we're going to talk about the one key to influencing people, and that is understanding and using leverage. Now, leverage can mean a lot of different things. So be careful. We want to make sure that you're using my definition of it. And what leverage means in this context is understanding why someone would want to make a decision, why somebody would want to go your way or not go your way, what the true deep down issue actually is. I've been preparing, I don't know if you're listening to this in quote unquote real time or this is a past episode for you, but it is right now, it is mid-February in 2026, and I'm preparing to run another cohort of the Leadership Mindset 2.0 Executive Coaching Certification, where I take coaches through a 3-month journey and teach them how to ask really deep questions of really high-level leaders like CEOs, chairman of boards, etc. And this is one of the key tools that they learn. And I want to share it with you as well. And that is finding the leverage in any situation, in any decision. And it's not easy. We think it's easy, but it's actually really a tool and a skill that you need to develop. And like I said, leverage is a reason somebody might want to make a decision. And this links into so many different things that you learn from me. For example, we talked about having difficult conversations. To have a great difficult conversations, you need to know the leverage. Leverage is also used in framing conversations. And that is really what we want to use in the frame of the conversations if you read the book. If you didn't, no worries, just stay with me here. But what I mean by leverage is if I have somebody that I want to make a decision, why would they want to make it? You might have heard the phrase, what's in it for me? Or what's in it for them? But that's what the leverage is. But oftentimes we think we know the leverage, but we really don't. And so, for example, I had a couple different examples here. One is, what if I wanted somebody to invest in my company? I need to know why they would want to invest in my company. When we have an initial thought about the leverage, there's probably some truth into it, but it's not the deep down truth. We might think, oh, they would want to invest in my company because they want to make money over the long term. Yeah, but that if you go in with that, you are going to be losing the real leverage why they want to invest in your company. For example, some people might want to invest in your company because they really like being a mentor to other people. They really might like the sense of authority. They might want to invest in your company because they want to create a legacy. They might want to invest in your company because they like being part of something new and cool. Or they may do it just for a very transactional situation to make money. But if that's true, you need to understand what kind of return are they looking for? Are they looking for a fast return or a slow return? And until you know what the driver is for them to invest in your company, you almost might as well not even have the conversation. Because you can't link what you have to what they want to achieve or avoid in their life. Everybody has things that they either want to achieve or avoid in their life. And it's interesting because often people are either a move towards or move away from person. For example, some people might want to move away from looking stupid, like they hate looking stupid. They are looking to not do things in their life or eliminate doing things. Other people move towards things. They want to look smart. And it sounds like they're the same thing, but there's a world of difference psychologically between not wanting to look stupid and looking smart. Because I can not look stupid and not look smart. Or I can look stupid and smart at the same time, if that makes sense. So first of all, I want to explain to you, once you understand the leverage in any certain situation, it helps you because it connects your goal to something they want deep down, a need that they need fulfilled. It creates real commitment, and it moves past them procrastinating, taking a long time to take action. It helps you challenge them more boldly. When you can understand the leverage, then you can really hold them to account. And it makes progress much quicker when you understand the leverage. Now, leverage is different for each like you could, for example, go to 100 different investors to invest in your company, and the leverage is going to look a little different. Their potential reason for investing is going to look a little different in the 100 different investors. And so that's why you need to adapt your communication and your leverage to that individual person. Because the leverage in any conversation is a combination of, first of all, their personality type. We all have different personalities. And if you know the 4 different types of leadership styles, a dominant commander personality type is they want to win. Visionary influencer type is they want to look cool. They want to be in the cool crowd. The supportive collaborator personality type is they want harmony. And the logical creators leadership type is they want accuracy. And they want things to work well. So I just threw out 3 different types of leverage or 4 different types of leverage on 4 different personality types. We're just getting started. So you need to understand what their goals and their aspirations and their fears are. And I know you have a lot of conversations. So this is sounding complex, but like anything else, you take what you need from here and adapt it to a specific situation. Leverage is applicable in your personal life as well as your work life. So, this works with your kids, this works with spouses, this works with friends as well. And I'm not talking about a manipulative type of leverage. This is like why somebody would want to join your thought. And so we like a lot of these other psychological tools, we need to make sure we use these for good, not for evil. So in a business situation, you want to understand, how are they evaluated, for example, by their boss? So if you're talking to a peer and they're in a different department, you need to know what is important to them in their role. Here are some simple leverages that are somewhat universal, and then we're going to go on the deeper ones. The simple ones are, hey, this is going to help you get promoted. This is going to help you, if you're like, for example, salesperson or whatever, make more money. Very, very simple leverages. Or you're going to look good in front of others, or you're not going to look bad in front of others. So for example, here, I'm going to help you reach your goals, or I'm going to help you get rid of mistakes or problems in your job or role. Or you're going to be a contributor to the team. Almost everybody wants to be a good employee, wants to be a good teammate. People like to do a good job. So those are the simple ones. But under them are the deeper ones. So there's a fear of letting people down. A lot of people, for me, this is a human thing. We don't want to let other people down. Most people, including me, we like to be liked. We like to be part of a group. And we like to be, I put down here as I was doing the notes, perfectionism. We like to be perfect. We like to really do things well for a lot of other reasons. So they're very universal ones that we have. And even in a short 2 or 3 minute conversation, if you just tweak what you're saying a little bit, like you have a team member who you need to get their expense reports in on time, So you might say, hey, Jane, I noticed you didn't get your expense reports on time. And you might know a little bit about her situation. And you might say, oh, because the CFO has told me 3 times, what is up with Jane's timesheets? She's not getting these in. It's a problem. So just by her knowing that somebody in higher authority is looking at that, that might wake her up. Or you might say, hey, this really affects people in the accounting department because then they have to go on the search for this and it's wasting hours and hours of their time. I don't know if you know that affects them. And that might give her some of the, honestly, guilt feelings. Guilt is a great leverage, but she needs to know this. She needs to know what else she affects in this case. So here's questions to go deeper. And these are either questions, if you want to influence somebody, these are questions you can ask, or you can ask yourself because you might have dealt with this person, or you might have some information on other conversations with them. What's at stake for them personally and professionally? If nothing changes, this might be a question you ask them. If nothing changes, how will you feel about that? How do you feel about this now? If you don't go this way, what's the risk or what's the issue? Are these different types of patterns? What would it mean for you to make the decision this way or that way? So if you do have the ability to ask questions with the person you're trying to influence, you can ask questions to try to uncover their influence. Let me give you another example. I talked about what's important to somebody investing in your company. If you want a raise or a promotion, if you're maybe a middle manager or maybe you're an upper manager, you want to go up further and you want to go to your boss and ask for a raise or a promotion, here's different types of leverages, again, depending on their personality type, their role, etc. They may have a sense of fairness. If they use the word fair a lot, for example, and you got to listen to your intuition on this. So you might want to say, hey, I was really thinking, and to make things fair for me, I believe this is what's fair. And to give me this raise or give me this promotion. You got to link what's really important to them with what you're trying to get. You link it to them achieving their goals. You could say, hey, look, I really see how you're trying to do this as in our department. Here's what I can bring to this and that and make sure that these KPIs are reached. But in order to do that, I think it's fair that I get this raise or this promotion. Maybe there's been some turnover and they have a little bit of a fear of losing you. So you might just want to hint very, very softly that, hey, I've heard other jobs are, making this amount of compensation for the same role I'm doing. I just wonder if I can get in line with what the market is because I'd really like to stay here for a long time. And that's like a little bit of a hint of how to play on that leverage. But this is a very subtle thing. It's a very important talent that you practice is understanding the leverage and meeting the other person where they're at, talking about what's in it for them, making them understand that, using your skills and tools as a coach, as somebody who listens, and as a leader, that anybody who's in front of you, you can draw out what their leverage is. And this is something you'll get better and better at the more you use it. So that is your challenge for today. Think of somebody in your life that you want to get on board with something. Maybe you have a project. Maybe you have an initiative. Maybe there's somebody on your team who's not sort of playing ball. If there is, you're not, and you've tried to do this and it hasn't worked, it's because you're not deploying the right leverage. So you need to shift. You need to shift what you're saying. You need to shift how you're saying it. Some people like to be challenged. We want to be nice and compassionate, but some people need to be shaken up a little bit. Maybe they respond well to that. I don't know. If what you're trying isn't working, then you got to adapt what you're doing. But that's my challenge to you. Think of somebody in your team, in your life, whoever it is, and that you want to get on board with something. Maybe it's someone you haven't gone to yet. Maybe it's something that hasn't worked in the past, and figure out their leverage. As always, I'm in the groups on social media. You can always ask me a question about this. I will answer it personally and directly. All right, everybody, go out there and practice your leverage, and it's going to make you an even more powerful and influential leader. That's it for today's episode. But I have one more question for you. Do you have an upcoming event that could benefit from a Leadership Mindset 2.0 keynote or facilitation? One of my favorite things to do is speak and work with groups at events and leadership meetings. If you want to learn more about my speaking, go to rmichaelanderson.com/speaking, where you can see me on stage and inquire about bringing me in for your event. Then we can both meet in person and your team can get empowered with the latest mindset tools and strategies.